All right, some of you are wanting to use Xcode to do C++ development, and so this quick video will just demonstrate how to install Xcode and create a project and execute code within the IDE and so forth. So to begin with, obviously we need to install Xcode. This can be easily done through the App Store by simply searching for Xcode. Now you can see I already have it installed, so it's just giving me the option to open. But you'll probably have the option to get it if you haven't already installed it. Now, it's possible that depending on the age of your machine and how recently you've updated your operating system, it's possible you'll be told that you don't have a compatible version of OS X. And if that's the case, then you're going to want to upgrade to Mojave, which is the latest version of OS X. And you'll see that even I haven't actually updated to the full-fledged release. I'm running the beta right now, so at some point I'm going to do this update. But this is where you'll need to go if you are being told that OS X needs updated. Now, that's going to take some time, so you're going to want to do that when you've got an outlet nearby so you can plug in your computer, and 20 minutes to an hour, depending on your machine, to do that installation. Once that's done, then you can go ahead and install Xcode, as I mentioned before. With Xcode installed, you can find it under Applications. And we'll go ahead and launch that. Now, in my case, you see that I have Xcode pinned to the dock. You can do that pretty easily by right-clicking on it and going to Options and then selecting Keep in Dock. Okay, so with Xcode launched, you're presented with this splash screen that you can use to launch previous projects that you've already started or to create a new project, which is what we'll do now. We can create lots of different types of projects. For our purposes in writing C++ code, we're going to select Mac OS and the command line tool. We'll click Next, and now we can do things like decide on the product name and so forth. One of the most important things to do here is to make sure you select the proper language. So it's probably defaulting to Swift initially. You'll want to make sure that's set to C++. Okay, then we can name the product, as they refer to it. I'm going to call it Hello You. And then also, you'll notice that we need to provide this organization identifier. If this isn't here, then the next button will be disabled. And this is using the reverse URL notation that's actually pretty common in IDEs. Basically, what they're doing is trying to force you to give them some kind of an identifier that is going to be unique. So if you have a URL, then you can be comfortable no one else has that URL. And so you put it in backwards, and they'll use this in various situations within the build system of the IDE itself. You don't need to worry about the details, you just need to be able to provide one. If you don't have your own URL, then you can go ahead and make something up. So as you saw I had before, there's something like everything is awesome. All right, so whatever. So once we've done that though and provided this reverse URL, then we can click Next, and it's going to ask us where we would like to stick this project that we're creating. So I have a folder called Repos where I put the projects I build in Xcode. You can put it where you'd like, maybe within Documents. I do suggest having a subfolder, not just putting these things directly into Documents. But this is where it'll put the folders that it's going to use to store your project. So I'm going to go ahead and put mine in the folder called Repos. And also you'll notice we have this option to enable source control. If we have this checked, it will create a Git repository on your machine. So if you don't know much about that, you don't need to worry too much about it. It's fine to have this checked. It's not going to waste a whole bunch of space. And we can go ahead and click Create. Okay, so here we have our project and a bunch of information that may or may not be important to you at this period. But for our purposes today, I'm just going to show you how we can go in and actually write code. So if I click on the source file over here in the Navigator, then I can edit this template code they've given to me. I could blow it away and start from scratch if I wanted. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to augment it by saying, what is your name? Then I will create a string called user input. I'm going to do that. I need to do string. And oops, forgot to provide the namespace. So again, we could get rid of the need to do this by using namespace standard. I'm not going to do that at this point. And now instead of saying hello world, we will say hello user input. Okay, so here's some code that we feel like executing. We can hit the play button here and it will try to build it. We did succeed in building. Now, it doesn't look like much has happened, but if you'll notice down here at the bottom, this bar here changed, and in this case it did pop up. I don't know if I accidentally clicked this icon or not, but if you don't see anything pop up, you can click right here in the lower left, and it'll pop up then our console, so we can actually see that it is providing output. And if we click in within this box, we can, oops, there we go. Then we can actually type and provide input, and then it can provide us output there as well. So it's kind of like a little terminal in a window. When it finishes, it gives us feedback in terms of how the program finished, and you see it kind of mangled the output there, but that's fine. The program had finished. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's how we can install and use Xcode to do C++ programming.